Yep, fun with plumbing. This is an example of or actually a pretty typical situation where a homeowner must chip up the concrete in the basement floor to move the plumbing pipes because when the house is built, the 2x4 stud walls surrounding and framing in the bathroom aren't there yet, and so the plumbers don't really know precisely where the pipes need to go. So they shove them in the ground, concrete the floor, and the inspectors can come and say, yep, check, the pipes are there. Well, when we come to remodel, we find that, oftentimes the pipes need to be moved. This particular shower drain had to move. It used to be located right there, but the setup here was going to be such that it would only make like a 30-inch wide tub. I mean, just a very small, I guess they consider them standard sized tubs. But in our case, we wanted to put in a 60-inch by 36-inch shower pan. This is it over here. Okay. A little tall because this particular model has a bench. Okay. But as you can see, the front lip is definitely a shower pan. So it's going to be a little wider because of its width. The toilet drain had to move about, looks like 8 inches to the left. Kind of gives us a smaller area for the sink. The sink's going to sit on top of this backflow valve here, so that'll be out of sight. It's a very small sink, but it's a small bathroom. So that's part of what needs to be done. I wound up paying a plumber to do this. Could have done it myself. Probably should have. You just get a saw, probably a circular saw with a diamond blade and some water to score the concrete, and then jackhammer the rest out of there. He didn't use the saw to score it, which really isn't a problem. He did it all with the jackhammer, so it just made it a little bit of a rougher cut. But it also kind of enabled him to easily kind of adjust where he needed to adjust and so forth. But then, once it's dug out, he installed the right plumbing hardware to tie it all in. So that was kind of a big project there that had to be done. But as you can see, the framing's all gone in. Pardon the things that are in here still. I mean, this is a lived-in space, so the kids still have toys and whatnot. They come and use. But I framed in a kind of a bigger walk-in closet here for this guest bedroom, and normal 16-inch center framing all around. Okay, that didn't take long at all, really. I made sure to leave spaces for the water valves and whatnot that we'll need to access at some point. So I'll probably have an access panel door installed there. But yeah, nothing too crazy here, just basic 2x4 framing with 16-inch spacers. Now I did include some OSB here for the sills. Made sure the sills were extra sturdy, framed them in square. Wanted them to be, perfectly square with the window. I didn't want any angles or weird things. So it takes some time to, make sure the wall's straight. But yeah, basically, I framed this long exterior wall first, all the way from one side of the house to the next. After the exterior wall was put in, then, we built these boxes around all of the HVAC ducts. These aren't 16-inch centers. These are 24-inch centers. I wanted to make them a little bit lighter since they're going to be hanging from the ceiling, essentially. I just wanted a little bit less weight. They're still, they still need to carry the weight of the sheetrock, but there wasn't any special plumbing or any other features that needed to go in there. Just wanted to frame around the ducts. And we also have this fire system installed. We live in the mountains. The house is at a risk for wildfires, so this is code. We have to have this fire system. That was already installed when the house was built, so I didn't have to do anything there except make sure that wherever those heads exist, I need to leave room for a 1/2 inch of sheetrock. This HVAC that was installed after the house was built, this was obviously the biggest obstacle to beginning the project. HVAC has to be done first. So that was a fairly expensive install, but as you can see, very, very important. Got air intakes and exhaust fans or heater ducts in each room, which makes it nice. And it's code as well. So here's an example of a fire sprinkler head that needed to be framed in at a certain depth. So you'll notice that these 2x4s are sitting sideways, kind of flat ways, and that was simply to make room for the sprinklers, and also keep the ceiling as high as possible. But aesthetically, it turned out pretty good. We're pretty lucky to have enough room to frame around those sprinkler heads, and that wasn't completely accidental. The guys who installed that had that future finished basement in mind, so lucked out there. I really only had to have one of these moved. Had to come a little lower on the other side of the house. Cost me about $400 to have the fire sprinkler company come and lower the head. But here, I've decided to, instead of have a bedroom in the middle, we just kind of left this room open. Forgive the furniture. It's just kind of being stored here temporarily. And this other bedroom, the second bedroom over here, well, actually a third bedroom, we decided to make into a gym. So put a nice double door in that particular room. Okay. And, you can see the hallway is a little wider than normal. So we have plenty of room. So bedroom 1 over there, that actually will be a bedroom with the walk-in closet. Small bathroom. Bedroom number 2, we turned into just kind of an open area, maybe a foyer, a sitting area, guitar room, so whatever you want to call it. And then bedroom 3, we turned into a gym. Okay. The framing wasn't that difficult, really. It just took time, to measure each one out and make sure they're square and solid. Probably pretty expensive if we'd hired somebody to do it, but we did it ourselves. Another double door coming into kind of a family room area, but we decided to turn this into a theater. So we've got 3 speakers in the front that are going to sit behind an acoustically transparent projector screen with speakers up in the ceilings and in the walls. It's going to be basically set up for a 7.2 with subwoofer 1 there and subwoofer 2 over there in the corner. Really, really quite nice theater, actually. There'll be a counter back here for snacks, popcorn machine, let's say, and some cabinetry to store my outdoor, barbecue tools and whatnot that we'll need to go outside. Okay. We decided to put a hot tub here because we have kind of a view. You can't see it from here because it's kind of a cloudy day, but there's a lake over there. And so, you're sitting in the hot tub and want to kind of view this direction, we'll be able to do that. Not much of a view from this angle. Right, there's a bunch of houses. So we're going to put the hot tub there, which meant that I had a gas line in the wall running outside through the wall for our barbecues. I just had it moved kind of up the wall. This piping that kind of runs up there, and we moved it to this side, right? And now it goes out the other direction. So the barbecue stuff can be on the side that's got an obscured view, right? That's all that was. But that kind of plumbing was kind of expensive to have done, and I don't mess with gas lines. I know some people do. I hired a plumber and he charged me, kind of expensive to come move that pipe to do the hard, rough plumbing over here in the shower, which I already showed you, as well as moving this gas line. You can see he used a flex line to come up around, basically because we had an area here where the pipe was sticking out down below the surface of what would have been the sheetrock. And I would have had to either fur the ceiling down, which kind of defeats the purpose of trying to, make it flush with my fire system, and also, lose some space, and it's just awkward. So I had the pipe moved. As you can see, I still have some oddities. This particular vent definitely sticks out on both sides of the door. Okay, really weird, but because of this big giant wooden header, which you can't see really very well up in there, they had to come down underneath the header. This is obviously a weight-bearing wall right down the middle of my house, so it's critical that stayed in place. Sorry. So I'm going to have to frame around this some kind of delicate woodwork. What I've decided to do is kind of bring it out as wide as the door to kind of provide the illusion, I guess, that it was intentional and that it just sort of, I don't know, some kind of aesthetically, it's just less uglier than it would have been, I suppose. But it'll be big. It's going to take up the whole width of the door, and it's going to be a box I still have to frame. It is what it is, unfortunately. I think a lot of basements are like that. We're going to find a lot of things. But I didn't want to just, have a doorway, right, with just some little box up in the corner. So to make it sort of symmetrical, I'm just going to box it out on both sides as wide as the door so that it sort of looks like it's supposed to be that way. I don't know. Anyway, little intricacies. This temporary wiring is going to go. All basements, usually when they get built, they have one circuit that operates the lights for every room in the basement temporarily until the construction's done. So that temporary circuit's got to go, and it'll be replaced with, the new electrical. We still have some electrical work to do, as you can see. But here we got this wine cellar. It was kind of a utility closet. That's the sprinkler head I had to have lowered, and you can see why. Right, we haven't put a ceiling in here yet, but I will. I wanted to leave room for the electrician, but it's pretty clear now that I can go ahead and frame it and still not be in his way. In fact, I might need to frame this wall in order to get power to this particular outlet right here. And I've got a little bit of an obstacle, and I've just got to frame around it. No big deal. A little bit of framing left to do. We're going to put a refrigerator here. That's why the outlet's a little higher. There'll be a dishwasher, a sink, and another little beverage cooler with a counter coming out to about here to leave room for the pool table, which is currently being used as a workbench, as you can see. It's pretty clear this basement has been used over the past few years, right? It's not finished, but kids have used it. We've come down here, we've stored things, we've used the pool table, gotten use out of the basement, but it's time to finish it. More boxing around the utilities here. We've got a fire line. We have a new trunk for our downstairs HVAC. We have the existing trunk for our upstairs HVAC. This is an air intake that goes into the mechanical room here. And inside the mechanical room, this isn't ideal, but we've got the fire system, all of the hardware, all of my cabling for Ethernet and coax run here. It's a spaghetti mess right now. I'm going to try to tidy that up a bit, but it's going to stay where it is. So obviously all of the wires run to this central location here. This is sort of the hub. All right, luckily I have this room where I can tuck stuff away. So that's what I've done. I've run all the cabling to my theater. Smurf tubing's going in. This is for the HDMI cable that will run to the movie projector, okay, up in the ceiling, so that I can slip a new HDMI cable in and out of there when needed, or if HDMI ever becomes obsolete, we can replace the cabling to the movie camera. This is where the electronics for my home theater will be. Basically a 7.2 receiver. I've already got one. I bought a Sony. Not that expensive, but there's nicer ones, but this is what it is. I still have to run 7 more wires for the speakers. I've got some 14 gauge wire, really good speaker wire that I'm going to run, and they're all going to wind up coming back here as well. And then the theater will be done. I've decided to add a couple of extra little touches, just because I'm doing it myself. I have time to think about it. We're going to put a TV in the gym here, and so I'm going to need another coax cable run here so that we can attach, cable TV for the gym. And over here in the corner, it's a switch that operates what will be a fan. So you could just flip the switch on and operate the fan, oscillating fan or whatever for the gym. That's it. And then in the bedroom over here, I'm going to run a coax so we can have a TV, in the bedroom for whatever guest wants to watch TV. But that's it. I mean, really, at this point, as soon as the electrical is finished, and what they do, really, at least what my electrician's done, is kind of run all the bottom lines first. So attached to all of the outlets, they're essentially wired to each other, but they're not wired into the house yet. So we do all the lower end electrical first, and then the top end, the switches and lights and whatnot, they kind of tie into the bottom stuff. And at the very end, what he'll do is he'll run one wire from my fuse boxes over here, one wire to each circuit, essentially one wire per room, with some variation to that, but very largely one circuit per room, which is just one wire from one of those boxes over there into each room to tie it into the existing wiring that he's already installed. And so that'll be a quick, simple switch over to wire everything up and get it going. Soon as the hard wiring is done, it's time for the inspection. And the inspectors are going to look at things like spacing. Outlets have to be spaced about, I think he said 6 feet or something from each other. The idea being that, you should be able to run a 6-foot lamp cord, from one to the other without having to use an extension cord. For code, I guess that's what they're looking for. So they'll come and check off their little boxes as they see, okay, yeah, they're spaced correctly, check. All right, they use the right kind of wire, check. And they get through the inspection period. They might give me a list of things I've got to redo, so I'm sort of preparing mentally for that. But yeah, then once we do that, it's time for sheetrock, which will probably be one of the more expensive components of the remodel. The sheetrock, and taping is very time and labor intensive, but it's got to be right, and I'm gonna hire the right people. Got somebody in mind that I know will show up and just get it done. He's done a couple of projects for my brother-in-law, so I know his work ethic, and so it's kind of hit or miss with contractors, right? But just have to kind of let someone's experience speak for itself. Anyway, once the sheetrock's in, then I will likely install the finished carpentry work. So, some trim around the baseboards, around the doors, around windows, etc. And then paint I'm going to do a two-tone paint, keep it simple. Probably do, I don't know, the theater's going to be a little bit darker, probably, so I don't have reflective light, and, you know, it's more of a theater experience. But generally, probably a white ceiling, tinted walls, white trim. I haven't decided what color scheme to go with, but as soon as the paint's done, cabinetry can go in. I'm going to have a cabinet there, as I've said. There's going to be some cabinetry over here against the wall for this little, can't call it a kitchenette. It's called a wet bar. A kitchenette has something that you can cook with, i.e. a microwave or a stove. If you install a microwave or a stove, interestingly enough, you have to have a different permit because it's a cooking area, therefore a fire hazard. It's just a different permitting process. So we opted not to go that direction. Don't really want to cook down here anyway. Just snacks and wash some glasses and, you know, little things like that. This, you know, being a bar, lots of beverages and mixing and things like that, but not a lot of cooking. Okay. There'll be a very small cabinet in the bathroom, so that's it. I mean, cabinetry is very minimal, and then the flooring. Kind of decided what we're going to try to do in here is stain the concrete in the bar area from like this doorway over, and then of course carpet, nice thick plush carpeting in the theater area and into this center foyer area. The gym will be rubber mats, so no flooring there. The bathroom, of course, tile of some kind. And then the bedroom and closet will be carpet, probably the same carpet that we'll have installed in the theater area. But then we'll be done. I've got to have the HVAC guys come back out, and, you know, once the ceiling's painted, they can install the remaining hardware to finish up the vents. And of course, I'll snap in my speakers and install face plates everywhere. You know, got to have the electrician come back in and wire each of the switches and stuff to finish that up. But yeah, okay, I made it sound more simple than it is, I guess. But all in all, you know, that's what's involved in finishing a basement. I hope this video was helpful, or at least gave you some things to think about. I know that I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun project to be involved with. And yeah, more to follow. So do me a favor, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel. There'll be more instructional videos like this to come. To-dos, how-tos, tips, tricks, whatnots, supercars, fun things too, boating, who knows. All right, this is I Partied with Mike, and also supercars and such. And thanks for watching. Have a good day.